So today we have three great folks joining us. There we go. First is Kate Liston. She is the Director of Field Experiences and Student Teaching. I think that's your full title now, right? Yeah, I had to remember.
Fest. Do you have an acronym?
Fest.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
So, all right, so
Director.
Director.
On Fest.
Yeah, here in the College of Ed. And then we have Katie Sharp, who is a DePaul alum, and she is now a secondary teacher at Whitney Young. And then we have Dallas Wright, who is our graduate assistant for edTPA here in the College of Ed as well. So thank you guys for coming. I'm going to sit myself down over here, just kind of a little off screen, just barely on screen. But you guys talk to the internet. We have mostly people probably joining us online today. And if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to type them in, and we will. Oh, and Emily,
yes.
You can introduce yourself from behind the camera.
Oh, hi, I'm Emily. I'm the CET's graduate assistant, and I'm manning the computer. Thank you for joining us. Oh, well, yes.
Yes.
I am the conspirator of this event. I just kind of formulated these ideas. A lot of people come in here with these needs, and I wanted to address them. So this is one of the first ones, edTPA and tackling it, because that's the big one here. And then feel free to join us for the other two.
Okay. Yeah, we know that not every one of these is for everyone. Yeah. So we try to tackle a couple of different ideas.
Yeah.
So the first one is kind of a no-brainer. We do a lot of that here. So I guess the first question, informally introducing yourselves again, is kind of what is your relationship to the edTPA, and then we can go from there. You want to start? Yeah.
I will. I started working with edTPA about 5 years ago. And that's when we first started hearing about it and then trying to figure out how we were going to make it well, particularly since we're on the quarter system. That means our students need to do everything even more quickly than those who are on semesters. edTPA. That's a good introduction. Oh, it became consequential in fall 2015. So for 2 years prior to, we started working on how we were going to make it work for students. And then it took over a test that had been called the APT. And so since fall 2015, APT no longer exists, and now it's edTPA.
So when I first started at DePaul, there was just rumblings of edTPA. So I actually got to be like part of the start of it. I was not the first to go, but I was around from the beginning. I completed my edTPA last spring, and I submitted it in April. I feel like you know the date when you submit your edTPA. 2017, it was at 3 in the morning. So I completed it last spring, passed it on the first go. And I actually also got to work with a lot of students that came into the CET because I was a CET worker at the time. So I did get to see a lot of questions that people had and deal with a lot of concerns that they had and maybe issues that they were experiencing technology-wise. So that was a great experience before and after my edTPA experience. So it gave me a heads up, and then it also let me kind of experiment with the edTPA process. So that's good.
So Emily came up with the idea for this, is that you hear so many questions that others of us might not hear. So thank you again, Emily.
And for me, I've been working with edTPA since like January 2017. And primarily it's supporting like the teaching students as they, so especially in those early stages, like how my wording is correctly, is this all the information I might be looking for? Should I cite this? Can I write this more concisely? And in addition to that, just managing the education page, so the kind of reservoir of forms and handbooks that students might need to kind of aid that process.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the forms and reservoir, there in just in a little bit. I would say the big question that everybody asks is, like, what is the point of the edTPA? We know that it's something that we say they have to do, and they know they have to do it to become a teacher, but it's kind of, you're so far into it that sometimes they don't understand the context behind it. So as you guys see the edTPA from a couple of different perspectives, what do you view as some of the benefits and the point behind the edTPA? Because we know there's a lot of grievances about it, but we'll start with the good stuff. You know, what do you think of the point of the edTPA in any order you want?
I think one of the things that we had thought when it first came about was those of us who have taught felt that so much of what we started out with as new teachers, we had to figure out on our own. And the good thing about edTPA is it really prepares you right from the beginning as to what good teachers need to know and what to do. The other thing I like about it too is that as a special education teacher, edTPA helps you to think of those students who need extra help. That oftentimes a teacher, Katie's a math teacher, and so Katie is very well versed in everything that has to do with mathematics, but before she began teaching, she might think, I just need to know mathematics, I need to worry about all those areas. But edTPA helps you think of students in the classroom who might have an IEP or a Section 504, that you're thinking about them. So I think it helps students thinking right from the very beginning as a professional, going into our profession as teachers and knowing the right things to do to help students. So oftentimes principals will call me and say, I don't want somebody brand new because they don't know that much yet. I want an experienced veteran teacher. So with edTPA, you're already much an experienced veteran teacher going in. And it also helps you to become a national board certified teacher, so that as soon as you finish edTPA, you now pretty much know how that's going to go and can start working on that once you're teaching in school.
Right. I know I was completing my edTPA process as another teacher at the school was completing their national board certification, and we did things kind of together to be like, okay, I need to record this lesson, do you help with that? Or she needed to do a similar process. She needed to record a lesson, she needed to write some narratives, and we kind of got to do that together because the process is so similar. The edTPA process also works really well with the reach evaluations in CPS, and it kind of prepares you to defend your teaching and to step back and reflect, and to really just help you organize your thoughts when you're before and after you teach a lesson. So you really do have to plan something ahead of time, write it down, kind of think about why you're teaching this, why you're hitting on all of these points, what students are going to focus on, what students you know will struggle, and what assessment is coming up, kind of having that end goal in mind. And you have to do all of that for your reach evaluations as well. So it really did kind of prepare me to be a teacher that is comfortable with anybody coming into my classroom and observing, just stepping in to see what goes on in the classroom.
And as a student who's not in TV, in Department of Teacher Education, I kind of get that big picture introduction to edTPA when I first started the GA. And an analogy was made, it's almost like a bar exam for teachers. Something that is trying to give a baseline sort of understanding, but also it's encouraging an approach and methodology to teaching. But instead that I've noticed particularly around like you said, defending the teacher, basing how you plan a lesson, or basing even your students on prior work and theory and research.
Okay, so we'll go backwards then on the touchy subject here of we'll limit you to one criticism. What is one big thing though that you think is maybe missing from edTPA, or that it doesn't do a good job addressing, or that you think from your perspective is not effective?
I think one downfall, and that just might be because we're on that quarter system, is that everything just moves so fast. And I mean, you have to record things day one. And then it's not going to be great because it is day one and you don't know any of their names. But you have to move fast. And that actually prepares you to be a really great teacher as well, because you gotta be on your toes all the time. So I mean, that is hard. I know I would have liked to take some time to get to know the classroom and just kind of get my feet wet a little bit before I started some hardcore lessons and recording these students that have no idea what I'm saying. But it's just something that we gotta live with. And again, that's just because we're on the quarter system, so it's so fast. But I mean, then it's fast and you're done, and then you can just enjoy the rest of your student teaching.